Hello, my friends. John Wilson here. And hey, it's that time of year again. It's time to start assessing your equipment needs for next year and make some purchases on behalf of Uncle Sam. Well, I'm here to tell you that my friends here at IVOCLAR have really sharpened their pencils and are offering some of the best deals of the year on mills and furnaces. As an owner of several of these great pieces of technology, I can tell you firsthand that you won't be disappointed. We're talking about robust and dependable machines that make you more efficient. We certainly count on them daily here at Sunrise. So do yourself a favor, make that call today. You'll be glad you did.
And of course, we appreciate IVOCLAR for their continued support. Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 350 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name's Barbara. 350?
Isn't that crazy? What a nice little milestone we hit.
I was just thinking that.
Boom.
Congrats.
I'm actually more excited for episode 365.
Why?
Because that means someone can listen to an episode every day and it'll take them a whole year.
Wow, that's pretty profound.
15 more weeks we'll be there. How are you, Barb? What's happening?
I'm good. I'm decorating my tree. It's Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
I did the lights, and now I'm putting the bulbs on, and then I'm going to go for a run, and it's my mom's birthday, so then we're going out to dinner. What up with you?
Dang, you got a lot going on this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing that exciting. No tree. Will run. No birthdays. So.
Do you do a tree?
Every now and again. This year I was convinced to get it out of the attic. So it is up. It is decorated.
Come on. That's fantastic.
It's probably the first time in about 3 years, though.
Yeah, you are a little odd in some things, but in a good way.
Yeah. Depends on who you ask.
I don't know if you can be odd in a good way, but if you are, you're definitely that person.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you know what? All this cold weather, it honestly just gets me in the mood for next year.
Oh, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, once I start putting on the winter coat, having to defrost the car, I start thinking about Vision 21.
Yeah, man.
It's coming up. We're getting close. It's January 16th to the 18th at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't go to this show and record just because there's so much great content. And we actually go just to hang out with all the attendees, our friends, our compadres in the industry. We just love seeing everybody.
I know. And what about Joe Young? He's president.
Yep. So Joe Young from Young Dental Lab, he's going to be inducted as president of the NADL. So if you've never been to this show, this is a good year to go. We should all go and support Joe. So.
Right on.
And then right after that, about a month or so, we all gear up and head out to LMT Lab Day Chicago 2025.
I'll be there.
Of course you will. You better.
Well, registration opens on December 12th. And of course, already we are hearing about some of the programs.
Yep.
You and I will once again be in the IVOCLAR Grand Ballroom pretty much most of the weekend, recording anyone and everyone that's willing to, or that I go and grab, talk to us. And as you know, or you don't know, IVOCLAR is going to celebrate 20 years of EMAX. That's crazy. That makes me feel old, but I'm not old, so...
Young at heart, Barb. Young at heart.
But they're already filling their speaker room with some amazing talent. So guys, register. Lab Day Chicago, February 20th to 22nd. And if you want to, come see us in the IVOCLAR Ballroom.
Even if you don't want to, come and see us. And of course, as always, IVOCLAR, thank you so much for hosting us and all your support.
Yeah,
we love that location. It's just such a great spot.
Oh, and so much energy and just vibes. And it's just the bomb.
Such a great thing. So over the years, you know, we've talked to many companies or vendors that are within the dental laboratory space.
At least 300.
A lot. We love to hear the story of the company and what they're doing, and really, most importantly, how they can help technicians and labs succeed. Now, recently, Julie from DESS reached out to us about being on the podcast. Now, I'm pretty familiar with this company because at the lab I'm at, we use a lot of their products for our full arch cases. Now, usually when a company comes on, we talk to the CEO or maybe a sales manager, which is great. We love to hear from everybody. But DESS wanted to do something a little different, and we actually love this idea.
Uh-huh.
So DESS suggested that we talk to two people in our industry that believe in their parts and the workflow and find out how they benefit from the DESS parts. There's actually nobody from DESS on this conversation.
I know, it was great.
Yeah, so the crazy part is her suggestion was actually two past podcast guests who, even crazier to us, have never met in person.
Right. It was a great dynamic.
Yeah, it's such a good conversation. So first up is Jimmy Stegall, who is now doing his own thing by doing what he loves best, called Here to Serve Dental. But also joining the conversation is the CEO of Alien Milling Technologies, Saro Hatzakortzian.
Good job.
Close enough. I think he would accept that one.
Very impressive. I do too.
They both update on what's going on in their lives since the last time they were on the podcast, but then we dive deep into the world of abutments and tie bases and overdentures and screws and all the other parts that DESS has to offer for
Which you were
implants.
geeking out on again.
I love this stuff, Barb.
I know.
It's so... out of all the things to be into.
Yep.
But what we like is here's a guy that educates other labs and another guy that runs a busy milling center talking about why they choose DESS for all their implant needs. So join us as we chat with Jimmy Stegall and Saro Hatzakortzian. Voices from the bench. The interview.
So you guys don't know each other?
No, never met Jimmy.
What?
Okay. Gotcha.
That's how we're starting the podcast. What? You've never met Jimmy? He's a staple in this industry. Are you kidding me? Wow.
I'm sorry.
He got really popular after I got out of the lab. That's what it was. I ran a lab for 30-something years, Saro. So I would know him well if I was still in the lab.
Probably.
Gotcha.
That is crazy you guys never met with all the meetings I've seen both of you at. That is nuts to me. Well, in Chicago, we're going to have a coffee. All of us.
Let's go.
Excellent.
Let's do it.
So Barb and I are really excited today because we have two past podcast guests to come back, not only just to really update us on what they've been doing, because you're both doing a lot more than what we first talked, but to talk about your relationship with the DESS and all their parts and pieces. So let's welcome to the podcast, Jimmy Stegall. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, Elvis. Hi, Barb. Better not deserve, I'll tell you that, young man.
I say that all the time.
And I think you said that last time. So are you better than last time?
Yeah, I'm always
nice.
Better, right?
And also joining us from Alien Milling Technologies, which is crazy that you were on over 4 years ago on this podcast. It's just crazy how quick that time went. And I'm going to butcher your last name. Saro, what is it?
Why don't you just let him say it? Let him say it.
Let's go, Elvis.
Oh, come on, man. Saro
Hatzakortzian.
Nice. I knew it was there.
There we go.
Hatzakortzian. Saro Hatzakortzian from Alien Milling. How are you?
Amazing. Good morning.
All right.
Yeah, it's super morning for you out in California, and I appreciate that.
Of course. Hi, Elvis. It's great to be back. And Barb, hello.
Hello.
Awesome.
Good to have you. Welcome.
Yeah, let's
you.
get an update on Alien, because nothing's changed as your company or your position. You're still CEO of it. But what's Alien been up to in the last 4 years? Anything?
Oh, man. To be honest, I would have to open up our news channel or news page just so I can go over what we've done. I lose track. The latest thing I know, just because it's so fresh, it's only been like a week, is the Alien Aligner is now launched for labs.
Oh, cool.
So They can upload their files. We can print it, thermoform it, cut it, label it, and even package it with their own logo on the ortho aligner boxes and ship it out to them. So that's one of the latest things we've worked on.
What kind of an undertaking was that, I have to add? Because aligners, that's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, it took about a year and 3 months, and most of it was my fault for taking so long. It could have been done in 6 months for the FDA approval, but I just sat on the project for an extra 5 months for no absolute reason, just trying to find time to find,
Well, I think you were making a movie, weren't you?
There was that too. There was Molar City. That thing was planned and shot in less than like 9 days.
Seriously, that was well done.
Funny story.
Well done.
Yeah. That was very fun. Last minute casting, everybody pulled through. We got really, really good quality talent for some. You had the worst actor, which was me as an extra back there. I don't know if you guys saw me in the movie, but hopefully I did okay.
You only stood out because I knew you.
Oh, perfect. They told me to act shocked, and I pretended like we dropped a full arch case, and that's all I could think about.
That's a good way.
I would be shocked. Yes, that's for sure.
I think when we talked to you 4 years ago, it was all about zirconia and milling machines. Is that still a bulk of what you do?
Yeah, so we're a milling service first. That's the bulk of what we do. Machines were kind of stepping away from that. We had a great partnership with VHF. I really liked it, but we decided to part ways. We decided to focus on what we do best, which is just milling services and selling zirconia discs. But now we are getting into the aligners, and we are going to be getting more into software and helping labs become more efficient with some new software coming out to help them just manage this whole digital transition, or even the digital workflow going forward. Not even the transition, people are way past that, but going forward and making their digital life way easier and just making more efficient. You'll be seeing lots of cool software coming out soon.
Can you hint at it a little bit?
Yeah,
that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, managing cases is one of the biggest hurdles that we see, not just labs, but even ourselves, our technicians here having to manage all the digital files coming in to make a little platform to organize them really, really well. We're using it here now. Once we work out all the kinks, then we're going to publish it for everyone to use it to say, you know what? Okay, it helped us become super organized. Here you go. You can have it too. You can be super organized as well.
So it's just like case management software.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Case management software for digital scans that they're getting in.
So it's geared towards the digital aspect of it.
Exactly. I can brief a little bit about it. Basically, right now, if your doctors or whoever, they send you some cases, you got to log into that specific portal, download it. So we're working on a single portal that you log on, and you can access all of those scans from all the different intraorals out there. So it's one general mailbox, if you will, one general inbox, and you can update the status. And of course, it relays back to that intraoral portal with your status message, right? It's been downloaded, it's been shipped, it's been whatever the case might be.
Nice.
That's really good, because I cannot tell you how many times scans just disappear.
You're relying on your email, right? If that thing goes to junk, or if it just never comes through, because sometimes it happens, then you don't know there's a case. So what do? You have to log on to 7 different intraoral portals, right? And let me check if I have a new case. Well, enough of that. That's a bad way to do it. So now you log on to one, and then you see all the different ones just piling in there, and then as you download them, you can mark them as downloaded, and they disappear from your inbox, if you will. They go to archives if you ever need to download it back. The cool thing is the files are on our servers, so you can download, because some intraoral portals cut you off after 15 or 30 days, right? They're like, okay, you can no longer access this file. Well, with ours, you'll have a free storage. I don't know, we haven't decided on how many gigs it would be, but let's say we give you 15 or 30 gigs. After that, it would say your mailbox is full. You can either upgrade, or you can delete your old files to free up some space. But if you upgrade, maybe you'll get 100 gigs or maybe a terabyte for a small fee a month.
Right.
This is really nice.
So you don't have to delete your cases.
Yeah. I love it when offices would call looking for a case, and you tell them you never got it. And then they're like, well, why didn't you let us know? And I'm just like, excuse me? How am I supposed to let you know I didn't get something? And it's usually because it's sitting somewhere, and just nobody acknowledged it. I love it.
Yes, that's exactly what happens.
And the cases do, and all that good stuff. and last minute you're like, okay, fine, let me rush this, let me download it. Can you send it again? I don't think that's very efficient. But if you had one general mailbox, you just log in every morning, and your team logs in, and they see all the new cases, they download them. You can get notifications on your desktop. Let's say it's going to be great.
That's
So you're
nice.
kind of like the Glidewell of software. So you realized that you needed it for your company and created it for your company, and now you're going to offer it to the industry. That's pretty awesome.
Exactly. I see like what can make our team more efficient, and our team is not that different from any other team in the dental lab industry, right? I mean, we're all the same. We're all doing the same thing at the end of the day. So if something we need, we see it, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of other people can use it too or benefit from it. So
Yeah. Yeah, because we accept files from like, 6, 7 different companies. And I can't tell you how many times like they just get lost. And then the client calls and they're pissed and you just missed it. So,
and the training that goes with it, right? Each one you have to, there's a small little learning curve. It's like, okay, for this software you got to go here, for that software you got to go there. If there's just one software that gets all of them, all you got to do is authenticate yourself when you first log in, right? Because you got to connect each one. Once you authenticate yourself, then it becomes one workflow for all of them.
That's
yeah,
pretty
love
exciting.
it.
I imagine it's going to have a cool alien name.
For now we have ioscans.com reserved. So that's just the like the project name, but we'll probably come up with a better name once we're ready to
Yeah,
launch.
you guys are always good with the alien names, keeping the theme together.
Elvis, do you have any ideas of what we should call it?
Not on the spot, but I'll get back with you totally.
Okay.
Jimmy, how are you, sir?
Jimmy.
Great.
Man.
Absolutely. Having a blast, brother.
You've
Yeah.
had a lot of change. Last time we talked to you, you were Mr. Dent Supply, speaking for them, and now you're here on your own, and you're here to serve. Tell us all about the change and the transition.
After 37 years in the lab,
Yeah.
and then I was 7 years with Dent Supply, primarily teaching and training, and mostly around the digital dentures. Over 150 lectures or webinars a year. That was great. Having a ball, it's fun, but I always plan to at some point, work towards doing more of what I want to do. And I had planned for this at the end of last year, and with the overall goal of maybe within a couple years, but about mid-year, things just fell in place where it seemed to be the right time. So
Yeah.
starting in May, June, I started my own firm. I'd already set everything up, but I just started with the goal of just continuing to do the same, right? Just doing lectures and for labs and companies, trainings. Dent Supply still uses me. I'm still an independent contractor with them for the training on the Swissôtel
I
system.
noticed that you still are doing it for them. So, I mean, hey, at least you didn't burn any bridges. So,
No, it's good. It was certainly great. I mean, obviously the 7 years with them, set me up for this,
sure.
and I owe them a lot. And I tell them my calendar's always available to them, and they've been very good to me. And I've just booked 2025 classes with them. So yeah, they've been a great partner and will continue to be. And so I thought I'd continue to do that. And then what it allowed me to do was to offer to labs that have been asking, hey, can you come to my lab and train me directly? And Dent Supply, we were just too busy at Dent Supply. We couldn't. Christy and I, the two only trainers, we had to start doing them at the academy because we just couldn't get to everybody. This has allowed me to have that opportunity again. And I have booked many of those with some of my friends in the lab industry. So spending a day or two at labs, working with their teams on not only digital denture, but other things, right? I grew a $12 million lab, so maybe I can answer a few questions. Right,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
know a
So do
couple
you
things.
specialize when you do that in the digital dentures and then you can kind of pivot?
Yep. I've done some consulting on just the operational HR things, sales and marketing. I actually got to work with the lab group with their sales and marketing teams from all their labs, which was great for me because that's kind of where I spent some of my period at Saro Dental Lab. And so it's fun to get back to that. I love that aspect of how to talk to dentists on behalf of labs. And that's been fun, right? And that's what I've been doing. What has really surprised me, though, is the number of companies that I've partnered with. I have developed some really fun, some really exciting, it's not being tied to Dent Supply directly has afforded me the opportunity to work with other companies in maybe some of the same areas. So, gosh, wow, Dent Supply is great. DESS was the first one that reached out and said, hey, we're working on building our brand in the US, and, you use some of our stuff. And, I still do some cases for university friends and some clinical trial things. And I didn't know a lot about DESS, but so they were the first partner. But gosh, let me tell you this list of folks. This just blows me away every time I look at this list. Asiga, Evident, Harvest, CADFlow AI, Ivory Guide, Rebel 3D, Grow 3X, Meyerson, Zahn, Henry Schein Canada, Zimbus, Wagner are all partners with Here to Serve Dental. And guys, it's just been a blast. It is absolutely fun.
You're probably speaking more now than you were with Dentsply.
Oh, no, I'm not. I have control of my calendar now, so I can say no. Right? And I don't say no often. I love it. I love what I do, right? And that's what makes it so fun, right? I love talking about digital dentures. I love speaking 150 times a year to dentists, watching them get excited about doing dentures again. I love seeing technicians learn new skills and, see a lot of hope for our industry when, there are alternate ways to do what we've been doing and do it more efficiently. So all those things just make my life just a true joy and benefit. I mean, the only thing I'm missing is, I don't have to go on somebody else's behest all the time. So I can kind of say, you know what, I'm blocking 3 weeks off in December. So no, I'm sorry, I don't have any time.
There you go. Yeah.
That sounds like a dream, honestly.
That sounds like a luxury.
Yeah. Being in charge of your own calendar and your own time. Like, God, I'd like to take 3 weeks off, Elvis.
No, this podcast is not stop.
So how are you and Saro's company affiliated? Is there an affiliation there other than DESS, or is DESS the affiliation?
DESS is the affiliation. I'd love to talk about it more because I'm sure I can help spread that message as well. But no, it's all DESS. I mean, DESS, my connection with them started early. They reached out early, like I said, know some of those folks, and they wanted my assistance to help them kind of spread the word and build the brand. So they contracted with me to do some videos they're going to be using on their website and social media, doing some lectures for them. Got a webinar coming up Monday for them, but it afforded me the opportunity to study them more because I was totally ignorant about their capabilities, their reputation, their quality. What blew me away, and yes, I know that you guys got to go over to Spain as well, but it was my first trip to Spain. I got to go see the DESS factory. And I'll honestly tell you, my opinion of DESS before that visit and before this partnership was it was just a pretty good aftermarket implant parts, right? Eric, they make them for everybody. And, honestly didn't have a super high opinion. It's just a low cost option that we had. But guys, I spent a couple of days over there and they showed me all of what they're doing. And I saw the manufacturing. I saw the unbelievable quality control and inspections they go through. And 180-degree turnaround. These guys are top notch. And as he's already said, right, they make some stuff for folks we don't even know about. And so I saw some brand name packaging that kind of blew me away that, oh, you make that? Yeah. So they're not by any means a cheap copycat clone. I mean, they are a cloning company for sure, but their stuff is definitely high end, but still really affordable. So I've been thrilled to be able to use some of their parts, talk about some of their parts, and tell lab guys about the advantages of, hey, this could really make your full arch workflow better, and it costs less. So, hey.
Yeah, so Saro, at Alien, you almost use exclusive DESS parts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking we did the transition back in 2021. I had to Google it and look at our own news feed. It looks like we started in 2022, so only two, but it feels like a decade, And it was probably one of the best decisions we've made to go with this. We're very, very happy with the parts. They have all the implant components that we need. They service majority of the brands that our customers request, and we have all of it in stock. So I mean, we have so much DESS in stock. Before that, we used to use NT Trading up until, whatever happened to NT. And we interviewed, I think, like 5 different implant component companies, and DESS was the clear winner. And I'm very, very happy with that decision. We have a great relationship with DESS. with the DESS USA team and also DESS Spain. So
Wow.
to me, it's been a great relationship, and so happy with it. So happy. They have so many cool components, from angled to straight to engaging, non-engaging. The pre-mills, now the angled pre-mills. They're just coming out with new innovative products, and a lot of people, whatever is on the tip of people's tongue, they look like they're listening, and they offer whatever we're thinking about.
So dumb it down a little bit for me, because I'm not quite certain I understand. So what is DESS? Like, explain.
DESS is an implant restorative component manufacturer. Now they're actually getting into implants too. So they're actually manufacturing the implants. So I just saw this recently, like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. But what they're famous for is making all of the components that labs need. So for example, you get an impression in or a digital impression in, and now you need the parts to restore that crown with some implant components. Well, you open up DESS's catalog and you say, okay, how should I tackle this case? Should we do it with a tie base? Should we do it with a pre-mill abutment so we can make a custom abutment for it? Is it a bridge? Should we get some non-engaging tie bases? So DESS has all of those parts. All you got to do is type in what implant it is. For example, it's a Hyosin regular connection, right? 4.0, 6.0. You just type, or you just click on that specific implant brand and size, and now you got all of these components presented to you. And now you can get really technical, you can get very creative, and really give the patient the best outcome for that case. Why? Because there's so many parts available for that one single brand, and they service probably like over, I don't know, I think it's like over 25 brands that they service.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to call that specific OEM manufacturer, like, I have to call Straumann and get a tie base. No, you can just go to DESS and get it. Now you have to let your doctor or you have to let your labs know that this is going to be DESS parts. It's not going to be or like original manufacturer. And as long as they're okay with that, then, you can go for it. But you have to let them know, hey, I'm not using OEM parts. They are third-party parts.
Yep. Gotcha.
Do you get a lot of pushback at Alien for that, or do you offer both?
That we're using third-party like DESS parts?
Yeah.
No, I mean, some people do say, hey, do you have the OEM? And to make relationships with 25 different implant companies and have OEM part, yeah, and it's a lot of inventory that we would have to stock, and not everybody requests it. So we just see what majority of the people want, which is like over 90%. They're like, you know what? Just get us the restoration, right? We don't really care if it's OEM or if it's DESS. Just we need our crown back or our implant back. For that, DESS helps us out a lot. It's like we have everything in stock. We only have to deal with one company. We send out one purchase order and we get all the parts in. It makes things super easy.
Yeah. And probably more financially, good for even for labs, because, if you can go outside those genuine parts and you can choose something, and the doctor doesn't want genuine parts, or he doesn't really say, financially, I think that's better for the labs and for you guys.
And the pricing is definitely more competitive, for sure. So they're selling convenience and affordability. It's like you're winning on both,
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of the cool things about the way they've set this up, right? We all need MUAs. You're going to need a multi-unit abutment for almost every full arch case. And, so and everybody makes them, but on the top, they're all the same. The inside, they have to fit the exact implant. And, all that, of course, is a given.
Mm-hmm.
But what DESS has done is that the screws to put these multi-units into the implants, right? Most aftermarket companies create screws that are unique to their system. DESS has gone to the trouble to make a screw for every system out there, meaning that the screw that screws in the multi-unit abutment, the top of it, the part where the doctor puts the tool in, is the tool that he already has for his system. So if they're doing a Straumann and they order a multi-unit abutment from DESS, the screw they get uses the same toolkit they have for Straumann. So they don't have to have another
smart
toolkit.
That makes it so the doctor doesn't have to have that 050 driver if they do.
Oh, here we go again.
Sorry.
Elvis is knowledge.
I think that's cool, because I can't tell you how many times I'm helping a Keystone case, but the MUA screws are not Keystone.
Yep. That was super smart of them to do that. So the doctor doesn't need another toolkit. I love their MUAs. Their MUAs are, if you look at the straight and the angle, they look like everybody else's, and that's great, but the screw makes them pretty unique. But they have a MUA they've had over in Europe for a bit, but they just released it in the US just a few months ago, called the MUA Plus. And I've done lectures on single tooth implant abutments for a lot of years, and everybody knows my spiel about emergence profile and tissue and health and all that. What they've done with this MUA plus stock part is they've given it some anatomical contour. So it actually has some curves and rotation based on the tooth and size. And so it is not a custom, but it's as close as we've ever seen with an MUA. And it's coated with that, titanium nitride, I think it is. It's really
Is that gold coating?
Yeah, really good.
I saw that.
Tissue acts better around it, loves it better, not as much recession, all that stuff. And they use it on a lot of their parts. And that MUA plus is probably going to, make itself known in the market pretty strong because of those things.
So what? They're contoured for like specific tooth numbers to fill in more of a... Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not just a straight taper, right? All the way around round. So it has some ovalness to it. It's got a bend to it, right? It's actually, made to try to fit, what the expected tissue contour might be. So more anatomically correct, call it.
Do they stick with the usual 0, 17, and 30?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's all.
Yep.
Good.
Jimmy, do you think they're doing some sort of like a testing run to see how labs like it, and if it all goes through well and everyone loves it, do you think they'll eventually replace the standard MUA with the MUA plus?
I don't know. I think there's always going to be a demand for a standard MUA because we're so used to it out here. I don't think it'll replace it. Maybe. I guess sales will tell, but
if it's all the way like better, like right, all around better,
yeah.
And there's really no disadvantage to it. If it's just better in all aspects, I would see them just maybe taking the standard one out and saying, you know what, give the whole industry a better contouring and better gingival health MUA.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you don't use an MUA, right, and you want to use a tie base, lower cost option, their tie bases are not extremely unique, but are unique in a way in that, and most everybody is, I think, heading toward this direction, is that a tie base, is a straight up and down part. And you need some engaging, sometime you need not engaging. And the screw hole is always an issue with a tie base, right? A straight part with a narrow channel means the screw's going to be where the screw's going to be based on the implant
no option,
position.
Yeah.
Right.
But their tie base is unique, and they've designed the internal cylinder so that you can access the screw from up to 20 degrees any way around, 360, right? And so it gives you some flexibility with, even though the part itself is straight, I can turn the hole in the restoration up to 20 degrees off, right, to take advantage of that on a simple tie base. That really expands your capability.
But don't you need a special screw and a special driver?
Nope. Or again, remember the smart switch screws they make, same as, if I'm making a tie base for a Straumann, I get a smart switch screw with the Straumann tool fits it.
Okay. Well, how does a Straumann driver engage something 20 degrees? I'm confused.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. It is it's kind of a Torx type tip.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
So you're right. The screw would be different for that 20 degree angle.
Yeah. Speaking of angle changing, you must do that a lot in Alien, Saro. I mean, I imagine a lot of your cases use those.
Definitely. We get all kinds of cases, and majority of them we actually prefer to angle base right off the bat, just to give our designers that leeway that, you can go up to 20 degrees instead of us trying to estimate, hey, will a straight work on this? It's like, hey, just do an angle base, because the angle base you can do is 0 degrees. So you can do straight in case you need to. But if you don't, you need that extra 2 or 3 degrees, or maybe up to 20. You have that freedom to move. So our standard go-to is always an angle base.
Interesting. I've not heard anyone do that. It actually makes a lot of sense.
Because it could do both. It could do straight and angled. So why not just go with that product?
Yep. Saro, have you done any of they have a special tie base called an elliptibase. It's kind of an oval shaped tie base. Have you used it?
So we only use the elliptibase for the Bio Horizons 3.0 because they don't make a straight or an angled for the Bio 3.0. So they only have an elliptibase for that. And now, we carry the elliptibase only for the Bio 3.0.
Hey guys, let us in on the secret. What the hell is an elliptibase?
It's just an oval shaped tie base, not a round.
Why?
Anti-rotation.
Oh, so instead of a flat edge, it's just oval shaped?
Yeah. You get much more retention or surface retention, so that thing is not going to spin at all.
Interesting.
Oh.
How come no one else thought of that? It just makes sense.
Yeah.
They must have one hell of an R&D research and development department in Spain.
That's what I'm
really
talking
do.
about. Their parts
Yeah.
that they come out with is just mind blowing. I really like their whole R&D department, their innovation. They come out with some products that sometimes we don't even think of, but they're geniuses over there. They're engineers.
I'll say.
They've digitized everything as well. So they have libraries for all the stuff, right? In 3Shape EXOCAD, you can go to their website and download all the DMEs you need for any of these products. Very good how-to guides on the website. So very supportive company. Now, another trend is that a lot of folks are doing direct, right? They're foregoing the tie base and screwing whatever they're screwing directly to the implant or directly to the MUA. You hear the Rosen screws and the ball screws a lot.
Yep.
They put their R&D team to work, and they've developed a screw for that workflow that I think is a better mousetrap, right? The studies they showed me with the force factor and how this screw affects the restoration, and the forces we don't want or the forces we want. And I think they have designed a much better mousetrap. And so the DMEs for that screw is available as well, so that when we're milling a zirconia restoration and we want to bolt directly to an MUA, it's a better, less stressful on the zirconia, stronger screw to base. I'm not a huge fan of that. I always like to have
I
some
was
sort of
about to
support
ask
there.
you what you thought about that.
No, they still scare me a little bit. Screws to zirconia without a metal connection is just worrisome to me. But a lot of people are doing it successful. So
we do lots of the 19018. That definitely took over. As far as
What is
getting
that?
direct to
19018? What?
Yeah, that's a screw. It's called 19018 because their original screw is 19006. That's the one that comes in with the MUA part. But it's such a small, tiny screw. I'm not talking about the size because they're all 1.4 millimeter, right? The one that threads in. But the
Yep.
actual like screw head and the screw seat, not just that, but the length of the screw itself is shorter on the 19006, so you get less gripping into the MUA.
Yeah.
The 19018, they made it a bigger head, so it's a thicker head and a longer screw. So that has become a really popular choice that we've seen. A lot of people are gravitating towards that. DESS, just like Jimmy said, DESS did come out with a brand new screw. It's called the 19069, and that is meant for direct to MUA. But 19018 still remains the king. I mean, everyone just selects that. We offer both, and we see 90% of the time it's 19018s.
Do you guys do any training on that? Like this one's better or this one's different and this is how?
To be honest, I mean, we do zero training. People they get their knowledge and they come and they ask us for it, and we just follow the trend. Whatever people are asking for, we see the trend and we're like, okay, let's start offering this or that.
Yep. Excellent.
So you're saying 90% of the cases you see are direct to multi-unit?
I would say probably, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, maybe 2 years ago it was on tie base, which was sitting on an MUA. But in this last year, I would say a lot of people are ditching the tie base and they're going straight to MUA.
Okay, so
And why not, right?
Well, that's the question. I mean, honest
Right.
answer. Are you seeing more breakage or issues or no?
We're seeing less debonding. That's what the issue we were seeing with tie bases was like they would screw it down and then after like a month or whatever, it would debond. And we've talked to Bisco and it wasn't just our problem, it was like an industry-wide problem. And they realized that, hey, if we ditch the tie base and make a thicker ledge where the screw sits on inside of the zirconia, that should support it better, because back in the day, the ledge was very small. I think it was like a millimeter. Now we're getting up to 1.5 to 2 millimeters of ledge screw. Why? Because the screw is longer too, so it can support that.
Yeah.
And now they're screwing it down, and we have cases, out there for the past 2 years plus, we haven't heard anything back.
Sure.
That makes more sense to me. I mean, you guys know I'm not an implant person, but I mean, how do you bond zirconia to metal? And how long is it actually going to last?
Lots of glue.
Yeah.
I know with PMMAs, they would pop off right away. So this direct to MUA for like temporaries was perfect. Once we made a stronger ledge, once we made a thicker ledge, it was perfect. And then people started saying, let's go with zirconia. So we gave it a go too, and so far so good.
Yeah.
So what do you do your PMMAs out of? Are you printing those for the full arches?
No, we mill all of our PMMAs, and we have the Alien PMMA, but we also offer Harvest's PMMA, which now they call it the DCL, and of course Annextent DCL as well.
Oh, nice.
All the good ones. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy, did that convince you to go straight to MUA yet?
Not yet. No, I do like, the ones I've seen break have been the other type of screws on the market that are typically tapered.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge with a tapered screw is that it's hard for milling machines are so variable. Burrs that you put in them are so variable. Milling that taper accurately so that you have the intimacy of fit of that long tapered screw is almost impossible. So that's what happens, right? You have a little gap somewhere and it moves and it starts to come loose. But what DESS has designed, like you said, the bottom of the screw that interface with the zirconia or the PMMA is flat, and they've made the flat thicker. So between the MUA and the base of the screw, it's a much thicker. And so there's a couple of milling steps you have to do, but it's given me more confidence. And so I print most of my prototypes out of PMMA, but I also mill the Harvest DCL occasionally. And yeah, my confidence is rising, but it's still not there yet. I like a cylinder, brother.
I get you. I get you.
How do you stay up on all that knowledge, Jimmy? You said you loved digital dentures, but then you pivoted into all of this knowledge of implants. Like, how do you do that?
Well, I mean, I was in the lab for 37 years and we did probably 20, 30 implant cases a day. So I was in front of a lot of it then.
But back then, you were still waxing abutments, right?
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, I did a lot of UCLAs.
Yeah.
No, we were one of the first ones to go digital, and I did a ton of Atlantis and other things. But no, the partnership with DESS, kind of brought me back into the fold of learning and watching closer what others are doing. And, the time with Dent Supply also afforded me the ability to work with labs and, see what folks are doing. So kind of broad-based field knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, it's very impressive from somebody that's not implant savvy. Of course, Elvis is, but I think it's pretty awesome.
It can be confusing. Yeah, I wish the numbers that Saro rattled off, these ID numbers. They number all their stuff, and I wish it was a simpler for me to understand. I get lost with all the SKUs, but I have relearned a lot of the workflows and actually now integrate them with the few cases I'm doing with some of the prosthodontists at the school.
Wow.
And DESS makes it easy. You just flip the catalog and say, okay, we want to go direct. Well, here's the screw. Here's the part. We want to put a tie base. Here it is. One of the other things that I have just thoroughly enjoyed with DESS parts is their scan post. They make a scan post for every implant. And again, they're tied digitally. So all you got to do is upload the DMEs to your 3Shape or EXOCAD. And their scan posts are fantastic, right? There's no hole in the top, so they scan better. The coating is sort of a titanium nitride sandblasted look. It's got 3 really good flats. They make a really cool extender for deep sites. And it's super affordable, right? That's the bottom line of all their parts is that everything is super affordable. But the scan post goes in. You don't need a tool. You just use your fingers. And when you screw in the top part, it clicks when it's fully engaged. But when you take it out, you got to clean it. That top part screws out of not only the implant, but also out of itself so that you can sterilize it and use it again and again.
So even engaging ones you screw in with your fingers? How does that work?
You just spin it and drop it in and tighten it up.
Interesting. But it still engages and gets rotation.
Yep.
Interesting. I can't picture that, but I'll take your word for it. And they're metal, so they show up on X-rays. That's huge.
Yeah. Titanium lasts a lot longer.
I can't stand when I go in there and people are using plastic scan bodies, and I'm like, this doesn't work.
Yeah, looks like they've been through the dishwasher a couple dozen times.
Yeah. At Alien, are you scanning anything at Alien, or do you only receive scans? Do people actually send you model
work?
Really?
Yeah, they send us model works.
Who the hell sends model works? Who ships
They
models
send you model
anymore?
work?
Not me.
For like what?
For implants. So sometimes they want custom abutments or maybe the full restoration. We always tell them, send us a model with your soft tissue packed.
Yeah.
We take it in. DESS does make 2 different scan bodies. They make the lab scan body and also the intraoral scan body. And we figured, the intraoral scan body is just a nicer looking and thinner, so why carry both? So we just decided to carry the intraoral scan body because it works both intraorally and extraorally.
Yeah.
People send over the models. We put the scan bodies on there. We have a couple of fishing tackle boxes over here that has all the implant scan bodies in there. So based on what brand and what size it is, we take that scan body out, put it in, scan it. Scans really good on the 3Shape E4 scanners.
Yep.
But people send you models. Can't get over
Yeah,
that.
people send models, people send all kinds of stuff. They send impressions without analogs, and we tell them, hey guys, like we need the analogs. But if they don't, then we just go on DESS's website and order them. That's one part that we don't stock, is we don't stock analogs here.
That's crazy. Out of all the parts you hold, analogs you don't.
There's really no reason, because we technically we don't receive we don't want impressions, right? We don't want to put that impression coping inside the
No, I
impression. What
would
if it's
imagine.
wrong? What if it's like 5 degrees off or up or down? So we just tell the customers, pour up the model and then send us the model with the analog poured in. So then we can't touch the analog. We don't want to put that in there, but they still do. They still send it. So then we have to go on DESS's website and order an analog, do it ourselves. Half the time it's good. Half the time we tell them, hey, this is not going to work.
Do they have a different analog for digital models and stone models?
No, it's all the same. So they're dim analogs. They can work for both stone or digital.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and very cheap too. I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's like less than $15 on their website, or $12. Give and take. I don't know. I
Sure.
can check the price later,
Sure,
but
sure.
so affordable. Everything.
Yeah. And I know a lot of implant companies color coordinate things. Does DESS follow that color coordination?
Yep.
I know their analogs are different colors, but as far as like tie bases and pre-mills, it's either gold or white.
Yeah.
Yep. The all the analogs are color matched to the manufacturer.
That makes it easier.
And the screws, right?
Hmm.
Just like the manufacturer.
Yeah, so the screw matches the manufacturer design,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Talking about the pre-mills.
Yeah.
The blanks. I was so anti, coming up using a lot of Atlantis, and of course working with Dentsply Atlantis, anti-mill your own abutments.
Uh-huh.
And it's still not a major thing that you see, but you're starting to see more.
Oh yeah.
And I always assume, like most lab owners, it's just a challenge, right? The FDA requirements for a lab to be certified to do that is a challenge. And there are two ways that you can be FDA cleared, right? One is to do it exactly like the manufacturers do it, which is a bunch, right?
Yeah.
A lot of audits, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of documentation. And most labs would choose not to do that. A couple have, but not many. The other way, we were starting to see people, partner up. Hey, we make this milling machine. We partner with this group. They make the blanks. We make the milling machine. If you follow our protocol, you'll have FDA clearance. And that's something I never really understood until I got with DESS and realized that they have one. And it's a very cool workflow, right? They literally do all the work for you. And what they've done is that their R&D team has validated everything in the process, from intraoral scanners to lab scanners, to milling machines, to CAD and CAM softwares, to the blanks, the screws, the zirconia we use, and the cements that we use to put them on. And they've gone through all the testing and validation, says, hey, here's the list. This is a recipe. If you use something on this list in your workflow, you're cool with the FDA, and you can mill your own abutments.
Wow.
But you have to have all that same equipment, right?
Yeah, but it's 3-shape intraoral scanners, prime scan intraoral scanners. It's 3-shape and EXOCAD lab software. It's Millbox, CAD Flow, all the softwares we use for CAM. It's the most popular zirconias out there. VHF mills, and there's another couple that are almost done with validations. They're very common milling machines.
Yeah, so you're not going out there buying specific things.
Nope,
nice.
Not at all. And their blanks are very cool, right? They have a really solid interface with the milling machine, so there's not a lot of chatter or movement, a lot of height. One of the shortest, one of the gaps that I've always seen with a blank is that the milling machines you're doing to mill the top part, the abutment part in the lab, there's a limit to how close you can get to the interface.
Yeah.
Theirs is the smallest I've seen on the market. So you can get very close. So it is almost a true tip-to-tip mill. And then finally, their latest, their angulated blank, right? So they have multiple options of an angulated hole in this blank so that you can mill an angulated corrected custom abutment in your lab. It's crazy.
Is anybody else doing that? I have not seen that.
I have not seen that either.
That's crazy.
Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have two versions of this, right? Type A and Type B.
Yeah.
And what each one is, I think, so like Type A, almost every hex out there is like 6-sided.
Yeah,
so that means if you divide 6 divided by 3 by 180, it's about 30 degrees that you can change the rotation, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, then Type B is obviously the middle of that. So now it gives you flexibility, I think, to turn an abutment 15 degrees using both, right? Both
Right.
options that you have at your disposal.
Yeah.
Now you can have an abutment that's up to 15 degrees as close as you want to be to where you want to be.
Yep.
Jeez.
If I'm not mistaken, I might be off. It might be
No.
15 or 30 degrees. Yeah.
Still.
A orients to the flat of the hex, and B orients to the point of the flex. So that you have all that option of picking the right one you need to get the hole in the right spot.
I'm just thinking inventory wise, that's a lot of inventory I got to carry.
But the software will tell you which one you need, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Once you design
position it, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Because the DMEs are in the computer, so it's pretty easy to decide. So I'll be lecturing on that. That's called a plug and play workflow for the FDA clearance, and I'll be lecturing on that in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure a lot of people need to learn that, though, honestly.
Elvis, I wanted to add something to what Jimmy said regarding the FDA. So I'm proud to say that soon we're going to be a validated milling center for DESS in the United States. We're working with their team in Spain, with their regulatory team. Once that becomes available, so either a lab can choose to do all of their, validated workflows, or they can just send that to Alien if they just want to get a trusted, validated from DESS workflow. Milling center. So all they got to do is upload their file or upload their, send their model work. And Alien would be one of the first ones on there as a validated milling center for DESS.
I would think as a lab owner that would be a much better route for a lab to take rather than try to get all the FDA in line. That's excellent.
Oh yeah, if I chose to mill my own abutments exactly the way I'd go, I wouldn't do all that other stuff that he's doing to go through.
Yeah,
it's just too easy. And when I saw the list, and I said, well, gosh, I had all those things except the VHF mill, and that wouldn't be a bad mill to purchase for other things. That's an easy solution. Now, I'm still a fan of Atlantis, right? There's nothing easier than pushing that red button, right? And that thing's back in 3 days, and somebody's done all the great work to get it correct. So, but there are labs that want to do it themselves, and I get it. Titanium milling is a little bit scary, right? A lot of things can go wrong if you don't do it right, but those that are bold enough to do it, this is a great solution. And, I'm a fan for those that want to do it.
Yeah. Are you milling abutments now, Saro?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I figured you were. You're not new to this. It's just you're going to be validated.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah.
So DESS is coming out with like a comprehensive list of validated milling centers so labs can trust and send to, and I think we'll be one of the first ones on there. This is a brand new workflow that they're introducing. They're saying, okay, you can do it yourself with our validated workflows, or now here's some trusted validated milling centers that you can just upload and outsource to.
Nice.
What's that like for you, Saro? What kind of paperwork and red tape and all do you have to go through to be able to give that to labs?
Sure. So DESS wanted to audit our workflow. They wanted to audit our FDA CF 821, which is Section 821 of the FDA. They wanted to make sure that we're reporting everything and logging everything down, and they saw everything. They said, okay, it's perfect. Now we're just waiting for the clearance so we can be on their website as a validated milling center.
Nice.
Well, don't sit on it like you sat on clear aligners, man.
Oh, man. That was, a movie was made within that time frame.
What was the movie? Give it up. I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, did you not see it? It was called Motor City. It was like a Western.
How I love and hate this city. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Western where aliens come and visit it. It was actually pretty well done. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Whose idea was that?
To be honest, I wrote the script about, I'd say like 7 years ago or 5 years ago, somewhere around 2019. And it was a small 30-second clip. And I was like, oh, I should make a little commercial out of this. And then one day my cousin was over. He's a director. So I said, hey, let's make this thing happen. And he goes, okay, send me the script. I said, because things are becoming a reality now, let me just revise it a little bit. It was a 30-second script, probably like half a page. I told him, give me a couple of days. After a couple of days, I sent him the script. And he said, Sato, this is 10 pages now. I said, okay, what's the big deal? He said, it's not a 30-second clip anymore. That's a 10-minute movie. I said, okay, let's do it. Awesome. So we decided to shoot it. We cast it in 1 week. I started a whole new business for the studio company, right? Because we had to get filming permits, insurance, workman's comp, and all this. So pulled everything off in less than a week. We hired the talent, and we had almost 18 actors, 27 total, or 30 people give and take on set, but about 18 actors, yeah. We did it in a little cowboy town out in LA, about an hour away from LA. It worked out. People showed up. It was 2 days of shooting. and then maybe about 2 weeks of editing after that, and then he was done with it. We launched a movie, and it's even submitted to the LA Film Festival. Let's see what happens.
Oh,
Did you
that's
really?
great.
That's great.
So how do our
Yeah.
listeners find it?
I'll put a link.
YouTube.
Oh, good.
I'll be sure to
YouTube,
put a
okay.
link on this. But yeah,
That's cool.
it's fun. I'd love to see what non-dental people would think of this.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like, what the hell
yeah,
am I
what is
watching?
this? What?
Why is there an alien delivering teeth?
This doesn't make any sense.
I think I read one of the comments on YouTube. They're just like, what the hell did I just watch?
Well, that just means you did something right if you get that comment, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Confusing non-dental people.
That's what we do.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So, Jimmy, I want to touch upon the DESS lock abutments because you do a lot of digital dentures. I imagine you introduced the DESS lock to a lot of people.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even know it existed. That's one of the best kept secrets in the industry. The DESS lock, as I have now learned, is as an exact clone of the attachment that we've all known and loved forever, the
Sure.
locator. It's been around forever. It's the most common edentulous implant attachment used because of its, how short space we can do it in and, how many options, all the implants, all those things. It's been great for us. And they literally cloned it. I mean, you can swap all the parts between the two systems. They all work together.
That's nice to know, yeah.
I looked at the nylon buttons and I said, that's even the same color as the other guy. I said, yeah, it's the same stuff. I said, did you guys not get in trouble for this? And they said, yeah, they had a little trouble, but they've worked it out, right? So whatever legalities happened, it's happened, and they're good to go. And so it's great. So the DESS lock is an exact clone. They have it in all the sizes and shapes, fit all the implants, all the heights. I like the tool better. It engages the abutment for torquing it down better. So the tip we put in the torque wrench has like these 2 to 3 little prongs that fit around the abutment. So it's a little more stable when you're torquing it down.
Oh, it goes around the abutment? Interesting.
The 2 little fingers that go on the outside lip to just kind of stabilize it while you're torquing it down. The DESS lock has a small hole on this edge of it so that, patients that complain about the vacuum created when you're pulling a locator off, that hole is designed to minimize that. So it might be easier to remove for the patient.
Interesting.
But the metal housing's the same. The nylon, the black, all the colors are the same, and they have them all. I'm not sure why you wouldn't use this thing because it's an exact clone. Now, I love my Preet friends, and I love the success we've had with it. So it's a struggle for me a little bit, but it's literally half the price.
Yeah. And it looks like it comes with a tool to deliver it.
Yeah, the little plastic part that you put over top of it to seat it and deliver it to get it started. It's great. Time that, you can reuse it, but it'll wear out, but they have a metal one to replace it with. It's just, it is so well thought out and so well done. I was amazed, blown away that I had not even ever heard of it. I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. It could be out there. You just don't know it. It's so similar, except for the tiny hole.
The colors are a little bit different. It's a slightly different gold hue. It's the same titanium nitride coating they use on all their other things, so it's a little lighter gold. But again, they've actually had some independent studies done over in Europe with the tissue reaction to this DESS lock abutment, and we are seeing better tissue response with it.
Interesting.
So,
why do you think?
I think it's the titanium nitride. I think there's something in that metal coating or whatever. It's the same coating that Atlantis puts on their abutments. It's not an anodization. It's actually it's a fusion process. So it's a special, it takes more work, but
the tissue responds better.
There's some sort of ion reaction that, the tissue likes better.
Wow. That's fascinating.
How do you integrate this with digital dentures? You never have a model. So what, are you relying all on chairside pickup with DESS lock?
Yeah, well, we still print some models too occasionally for these things, but no, I actually put together if the patient has an existing denture and the dentist gets 2 implants placed, we can use that existing denture with a wash impression and a scan intraorally with the DESS scan post, and so we can create our model, right? Mm-hmm. But we can do a 2-appointment workflow.
Wow.
It's a wash impression of the denture. It's a scan intraorally of the healing caps and a scan intraorally of the scan post. we bring all that into 3Shape and we design the dentures, right? I have the DMEs for the scan post, and, we can create the space in the denture by using this data. And so we print the dentures with the space already there to pick up the housings. And then all that's left to do is print the dentures and, go in, work in the abutments and pick up the housings in the second appointment using the patient's existing dentures.
So you do that before you select your heights?
Well, that's all done at the same time, right? When the doctor's going to do the scan, we ask for the tissue depth.
Yeah.
So we can order the abutments at the same time.
Interesting. All right, enough nerding out. We're running out of time.
We are running. We're getting deep into the technical.
Oh, yeah.
It's only going to get worse, and we need to start wrapping up. So, Saro, alien milling. If people don't know about you, I mean, what, do they not look at LMT? Or you're like on the whole page, but how do they get a hold of you?
Easiest way to get a hold of us is on our website, alienmailing.com. That's number one.
Yep.
But if you're bored, you want to talk to some aliens, call 844-ZIRCONIA. We're always available Monday through Friday.
844 Zirconia. How do you get that?
Zirconia.
That's when I first started the company. I'm like, okay, we need a catchy phone number, right? Because nobody knows us. So I said, all right, what are we going to specialize in? Zirconia. So let's go, 844-ZIRCONIA.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I imagine
Smart.
you're coming at Chicago 2025 as big as you always do.
Yeah, we'll be there. We might change up the booth this year. It's still, it's November, so we got to get to planning.
Yeah.
But I want to do something fun this year, so let's see what we come up with. I know in 2020 we did the whole arcade.
That thing was
with
huge.
Jason
Yeah.
Motors. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that.
And I remember the person that won that, he's never played the game in his life. It was his first try, and he put the high score up on the board. People were trying all weekend, to try to beat his score. Nobody could even come close. This guy never played a game ever in his life, and he just put up a high score first time.
Fantastic.
Pinball wizard guy there, right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He was great.
Jimmy, here to serve dental. How do people get a hold of you? I mean, I imagine everybody could use a little Jimmy in their lab.
Yeah. Here to serve dental.com. All the information is a contact form there. A list of all the courses I can do for you are there. The training services all listed there. But hey, the cell number's in there too. Just call me. And it's just me. So
Yeah.
I'm here and more than willing to talk to any lab that's looking for help, training your technicians, educating your dentist on your behalf, anything like that, helping you with workflows, operational issues, Again, ran a $12 million lab, so I know a little things about it. But it's pretty clear. I made it clear many times I'm kind of the most okayest dental technician, but I can teach things pretty well. And, last year I was humbled to have been awarded the NADL Educator of the Year thing.
Excellent.
And,
Oh, yeah. Congrats.
it's just been a fun ride. Here to serve is it's the way I've always answered my emails for most of my career. And it just seemed natural to be the name of my company. And it is really the way I live my life, right? I want to have a servant's attitude about everything. And, I'm truly here to help make you better. So, yeah, website, here to serve dental.com.
Easy
Awesome.
enough. Gentlemen, thank
you.
you
I like it.
so
Thank
much,
you.
both of you. It's so great to
Yeah.
have you back on the podcast. We love catching up. And, I mean, if there's one thing we've learned Alien, I imagine you guys mill a ton of stuff. And Jimmy's in every lab teaching. DESS is the way to go.
Yes, sir.
This is definitely the way to go.
That's awesome.
I agree.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Elvis and Barb, thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We'll see you both, if not in
We'll
Las
see you in
Vegas
Chicago.
or Chicago.
Or
Yeah.
Vegas.
Both. See you in Vegas and Chicago. Absolutely.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Talk
Thanks.
to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
I'm so glad I didn't have to do the last name, but he is pretty impressive. A big thanks to Jimmy and Saro for coming on our podcast and talking about why you've partnered with DESS. There's a lot of options out there, and it's nice to hear firsthand from users and why they use it. And of course, everybody, if you want to learn more about any of the DESS products, just head over to DESS-USA.com. That's if you're in the US. Everything we talked about are on there for you to check out and to order. And if you haven't seen Saro's short movie called Molar City, definitely check out this episode's show notes. Check out the movie made for dental technicians by a dental technician. Thank you, Jimmy and Saro. Hopefully we will see you in Vegas or in Chicago.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you, and we will talk to you next week.
Have a great week. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Just head over to DESS/
Dash.
Oh.
Dash. Yeah.
DESS. Hold on. If you want to learn more about any of the DESS products, just head over to DESS/USA.
Dash.
Oh. If you want to learn more about any of the DESS products, just head over to DESS/.
No, dash.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Dash or slash?
Yeah, slash is a forward slash and a backslash, and a dash is a straight horizontal.
So of course. So it's /dash. Okay.
Dash.
If you want to learn more about any of the DESS products, just head over to...
The views and opinions expressed on the Voices from the Bench podcast are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the host or Voices from the Bench, LLC.